Welcome everyone to a particularly special episode of What's Up Mainframe. We actually have a live studio audience today, and they are boisterously eating refreshments and talking and getting to know one another. We'll touch base on what they're talking about later in this episode, but I'm excited to introduce Bruno Laurent, who comes from a French financial institution, to talk today about his experience in the mainframe realm, some of what he's doing around modernization, and whatever other topics we may cover. So welcome, Bruno. So Bruno, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Hello, my name is Bruno Laurent. I come from France, as we talk. So about my background, it's very easy. I don't do many things about on IT at the beginning, but after 2 years doing the army, I decided to take the opportunity to work on IT. That was in 1988, so a long time ago.
Yes.
And that was before 2000, because I'm looking for many people. And the company tell me, oh, you have two possibilities, work on Unix or MVS. So I have no idea about what is MVS, but I decided to take this opportunity. And that was very amazing at the beginning. And today, after many years, so I started about at the beginning I started as an operator, and after I did many steps to become now an engineer, if I can say that, and I'm very happy to work on this where I'm doing now.
Excellent. So you kind of took an opportunity and jumped into the mainframe realm,
Yeah.
maybe even unknowingly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's actually interesting, the background and the shift towards IT,
Yeah.
because several years ago we met and you were making kind of another shift.
Yeah.
So we met while Bruno was doing the Vitality program, which is something Broadcom provides around educating folks who want to become, for example, an Endeavor administrator. So Bruno, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the Vitality program?
The Vitality program at the beginning is more to become an admin Endeavor. And I can split it on two parts. The first part is more focused to become a real Endeavor admin, junior, because when you come on when you come back on your company after 6 weeks, everything in English. So you improve English when you are French. So that's great. And what is so when you come back, you know that you don't know everything, okay, but you have some knowledge. And so that's the first part. And the second part, that's more focused on the mainframe modernization, and that's very awesome. That means that you touch about, and you know what is bridge forget. You know how to set up Zowe CLI or Zowe Explorer.
Yes.
You play with, and they're very, very, very awesome.
Excellent, yeah. And I remember you as the student who had a question almost every 10 minutes during the modernization topics. So now you are kind of an Endeavor admin, but you also fulfill a variety of other roles, and you're actually using some of those modern solutions that you learned about in Vitality. So can you talk about some of the ways you're using Zowe and some of these other things?
So I had a chance that on my company, starting from one page,
Blank page.
okay, and from scratch, and that was very awesome to build everything. So we started with Bridge Forget. So that's a great tool that do the link between Endeavor, Azure DevOps, because we use Azure DevOps, and after the VDI, if I can say that.
The developer machines.
Developer machine, yeah. And when you started with this, you are obliged to open ports, okay, between Azure DevOps and the mainframe and the development machine for the developer. So there is parameter to do at the beginning to be sure that everything works well. Okay. So that's the first point. After we implement Zowe Explorer, Zowe CLI, so exactly the same, open board and install the product and play with, and that's okay.
So while you mentioned kind of the progression of where you started with the modern solutions, and you highlight, opening ports and some of the configuration things. So because this is kind of a developer community that we have watching us and eating and everything,
I hope.
what are some of the recommendations you would give them in general when it comes to setting up some of these solutions? What are the things, and who are the people they have to consider?
Okay, the good things that during all the trainings that I did, that was IBM Zowe Explorer. On IBM Zowe Explorer, you can go and open an account. That's for free, and you can use it. And for me, that's a really good experience because you touch to everything, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first point. After, the second things that I believe for a developer, that's don't be afraid to touch some parameter, because when you download the plugins in Visual Studio Code, for example, Code4Z, you have the possibility that the owner of the branch give it to you some parameter, but if it doesn't, the problem that the developer must implement some parameter in it. So it's not very difficult, but yeah. So that's not all the time plug and play, but after to do these steps, you are open the mainframe very well, and you can work with this. Definitely, that's very, very amazing.
Okay. I'm just curious, so what has been your experience interacting with folks in Broadcom around either Zowe, which obviously other companies contribute to as well, or the Code4Z project?
Okay. What I really like with Broadcom, if I can say, that's your support. Okay. Well, I met you, I met your team, and there is different team that I play with, and work with. That's not play, but work with. And what I really like, that's your support. When I have an issue, I open a case, and the answer is really quick, and I really like it.
Well, thank you for that glowing review. There's always the danger of getting cases not just in the portal, but via WhatsApp or other means. But no, we really appreciate especially the validation that you give, because ultimately what it comes down to is it's not so much just us providing solutions and people implementing them, but it's really an exchange. You have to try things, give us feedback, we get to improve and even extend or enhance what we have.
I'm doing my best because I know that if I test something, because I did an account. I count how many, for example, I count how many cases I opened in last year. So it was around 1997, I believe. Okay, but that's not. When I open a case, that's not to finger points an issue. Okay, that's all the time to improve the project and the tool. And I'm pretty sure that if we go on this way, with the vision I have today, I'm pretty sure that the tool will be more and more efficient, and that will be more and more easier for the future customer to implement the tool on the solution, on the future platform, and for me, that would be very great.
And that's definitely the goal, and that's also kind of the goal of this meetup, is that not only do you share feedback with us about the solutions, but you can share your experience with others. It's also the goal of What's Up Mainframe, so that collectively we can work towards solving the problems that everyone faces collectively. So Bruno, excellent having you here. Now go get some food and meet some of the other folks in the audience. All right.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thanks.
See you.
All right, Bruno, thank you for having you in the podcast, What's Up Mainframe, and thank you that you came for MT Prague. It was great, and it was great that you was here.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate. And the MT does the same for the MTE. That was really great. Good communication, connection.
Awesome. I'm happy that you like it.
Yeah.
So I think, can you maybe call Scott Davidson, because he actually
sure.
recommends you to be in the podcast, so maybe you can tell him bye or thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hello, Scott. That's Bruno. Hey, bonjour. How you doing? Yeah, well. And you? Yeah. Just to tell you that I finished the podcast, and that was really great. Yeah. What? They paid you? They give it to you money? Wow. Really? Oh no, come on. No, because they give it to me money. Wow, ok. Lucas? Patate. Qu'est-ce que je peux demander pour un podcast?